Welcome back to the channel. Today we got I'm much happier living in Iceland than in the US, and here's how much it costs. So I ran across this video, I came across it, and I'm just like, you know what, that looks very interesting. Let me react to it. Why not, right? So I'll try to make the video a little bigger. Hopefully copyrights don't eat me alive. But what's smoking on my dragons? Divine righteous almighty greats, overachieving never slacking, and we flying to Iceland. Let's do it. Here we go.
In high school is when I had some type of thought when I was sitting in economics class. While the professor was talking about like US economics and politics, something in my brain was just like, I don't think I'm meant to live in the US. When I moved to Iceland, it felt as if there was something magnetic that has been pulling me in this direction. And I still haven't been able to put my finger on it exactly, but I know it has something to do with the nature.
Nature.
My name is Jules Chambers. I am 38 years old. I moved to Iceland from Brooklyn in 2016, and I make
Fellow New Yorker, yeah.
$73,000 a year. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, specifically in Bushwick. I moved to Iceland in June of 2016, and it was a huge change for me. The biggest reason for me moving is that I had married an Icelander. Besides love, I also was...
I bet she knows some of my cousins. I bet she do. Bushwick's only so big, and I got family out there.
Moving is that I had married an Icelander. Besides love, I also was offered a job in the marketing department of a big travel company in Iceland. My ex and I separated in 2022, and our divorce was finalized in July of 2023. All Things Iceland gives you the inside scoop on Icelandic nature, history, culture, and travel through the eyes of someone who moved here as an American in 2016, giving travel tips, advice, and sharing fun anecdotes about the country, as well as interviews on my podcast and really fun, helpful information across all of my social media platforms. All Things Iceland for the last 6 months has made a little over $50,000, and for the rest of the year, the projection is revenue of $100,000. And the company pays me, in essence I pay myself, $6,000 a month before taxes and pension. Because I have a great partnership, a long-term contract with a car rental company here in Iceland, I do not pay for anything regarding the car except for fueling it. There is universal health insurance in Iceland that is heavily subsidized. So once you've been living in the country for at least 6 months with a kennitala, or what would be considered your social security number, you're automatically rolled into the healthcare system. And when you go to the doctor, you do have to pay some amount of money, but it is normally not a lot. Oftentimes when I've gone to
It's not an arm and a leg.
the doctor, my cost might be like $3 or $4. In general, Iceland is expensive, and in particular when it comes to eating out, it definitely can be expensive. It is normal to pay somewhere between $25 to $30 for one course at a restaurant, a main course. Often when I've gone out and I had a 3-course dinner, that would be somewhere around $100 to $120. A cup of coffee also varies depending on where you get it. It could cost you as much as $7.50 to almost $8. I have a credit card. It's a US credit card that I've had for a really long time. I was so happy when I paid it off a couple of years ago. Thankfully, I do not have any debt any longer. I did pay off my student loans, another thing that I was incredibly grateful to do. It's amazing to say that I'm debt-free, and I'd like to keep it that way. Every month when I pay myself, because in Iceland you pay yourself once per month, that's usually how it happens, I put away automatically 10% into a savings account. So we're in Kronan, which is the store I normally like to shop at. This section is my section. Granted, in Iceland, it's limited. And the only reason why I love it is because at least I can get some fresh things. It's because I am plant-based. I often am buying fruits and vegetables, so bananas, of course. It's really important to me to try and shop as local as I can, just because I want to support the fact that Iceland has certain vegetables that it can grow and produce and like.
That's respectable. She's a real person, very authentic.
Gives out, so I'm always buying cucumber. They're looking really fresh. Because sometimes due to produce always being imported and being in the country for a while, it's good to just like look around it and make sure, you know, okay, this is a decent one. I love mushrooms. They're so delicious. So really happy that Iceland does grow these too. One hot tip though, that if you're visiting and you are wondering about the water in Iceland, it is pristine, it's amazing. There's no reason to ever buy bottled water in Iceland, ever. Another very Icelandic thing that you'll find
Iceland just sounds like it got some good water.
and in stores besides meat is dried fish in particular, and this is harðfiskur, so it's dried haddock, and this is 1,699. Do not open this in an airplane, in someone's car without their permission. Like, it is a very intense smell.
Man, Iceland, it's just awesome to see people go and just do something different and truly enjoy themselves in the process. Like, you can tell she's happy. This is her passion.
I love living in downtown Reykjavik, and I specifically live in the 101 area. On a street that's a little bit busy, but I don't mind it, especially being from New York. And for a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment with an indoor parking spot, I'll just say that because that's important to me, as well as a storage area downstairs, I pay a little over $1,900. Welcome to my humble abode. The bathroom is here. It's small but cozy. A nice big mirror and like storage space all over here. We walk right into the kitchen. I love having an island. I feel like I'm doing something wrong though, because I'm currently walking with my shoes on in Iceland in the house, and that is not something that you do. My workspace is here. Then over here is my chilling out space, huge couch, TV. Even though I don't watch it,
Definitely still reminds me of New York, to be honest, as far as the apartment, for sure.
on a television. When I moved in here, my mom was like, you need to have a TV. I think she was right. This painting and the paintings that you see in this apartment are actually by my boyfriend. He's a great artist and musician. In the last room of the house, at least that's in this apartment, is the bedroom. I love the closet space. All these closets are just for me, which is great. And a super comfy bed. I love Iceland, but it also can be really tough in the wintertime when the daylight is so much less. We have about 4 hours of daylight on our shortest day in the winter, but then we have 24-hour bright days during the summer. It can be snowy, icy, rainy during the winter, of course wind any time of year, and rainy during the summer. Mild temperatures though, which is nice, meaning it doesn't really go that much below freezing on average during the winter time. And in the summertime, we're getting temperatures of maybe a high of 60 degrees Fahrenheit, but more like 40 to 55 is fair. One of the most frustrating things about living in Iceland is not being able to just order whatever you want, and that's only the price that you pay. If I order something from Amazon or from iHerb, which I've done in the past, Paying the customs fee can oftentimes be much more than what the item is worth. And that is extremely frustrating to me because there are oftentimes not everything that you want can be found in Iceland. So I need to order it from somewhere else. I would say that my Icelandic is baratlægi, only because I feel like I'm afraid to make really big mistakes. And that's something I'm working on. So my understanding is quite high. So I can often just like listen and I totally get it. And then I'm just like, what do I say? I'm stuck on what to say. Living in Iceland has 1000% had an amazing impact on my mental health. The nature aspect has helped me in so many ways, shedding kind of this idea that it always has to be about my skin color. Being a person of color has many different layers in Iceland, and everyone's experience is different. I have had a wonderful experience. When I moved, I think the biggest weight off of my shoulders was that I didn't feel like my color was the thing that was most part of my identity. It felt like being from New York was what people were so interested in most of the time when we talked about. And I loved that. I loved being just Jules from New York. I'm not saying no one paid attention to my color or asked me questions. Definitely nowhere near the same type of weight that I felt in the United States regarding the systematic oppression and racism. I will never, ever say that there is no racism in Iceland. There absolutely is, and there have been people who have unfortunately been subjected to terrible things that have been said to them or done to them. I just have not been one of those people, and I hope that that doesn't ever happen and that it continues to get better as we all gain awareness. When I first moved over, a big part of being in an Icelandic family or marrying into one is that you spend a lot of time together. So it was great that my ex's family were so welcoming, so loving, so kind, as well as the people that I've met as friends. So I have Icelandic friends and I have non-Icelander friends who are coming from other countries who are really good friends of mine. I have a boyfriend now who is Icelandic and is amazing. And again, I am experiencing a very welcoming environment from his family. I also have been putting aside money.
Very awesome to see this video. Especially knowing where she comes from, Bushwick. I'm not from Bushwick or Brooklyn, but I do have family out there around her age. So yeah, knowing where she come from, it's just it makes you want to clap for her in a sense. That's awesome that you found something that really truly makes you happy. Oh, press unmute this.
I also have been putting aside money to buy an apartment with my boyfriend. We're talking about how we can change the apartment to meet our needs. So currently it has one bathroom and we would like to have two. So we were looking at taking the kitchen and transforming this room into the kitchen and making another bathroom / laundry area. This is our second time checking out this apartment. They lowered the price for this place, and that of course intrigued us because it already had a lot of appeal. It's really bright. It's in a great location downtown. There's a wonderful view. Part of this apartment that you can tell it's like a bit older and needs some love, but we're good at we're good at giving love. So there's schools for when we start a family. Ooh. The number one thing I miss from the US is my family. I visit the US 1 to 2 times a year, and I have family members that also visit 1 to 2 times a year. My mother being the #1 person that loves to come over to Iceland. She was just here for 7 weeks, and that was amazing. I am an Icelandic citizen, and I have been for some years.
Those waterfalls though, woo, nice. That is so nice.
Now, Iceland is my home. I've felt that ever since I moved. When I made that decision and stepped my foot down that day when I came to the country full time, it just felt right, and it has continued to feel that way. So for the foreseeable future, Iceland is my home, and I'm really happy that I have the chance to say that.
Videos like that, videos like that are so awesome because you truly see people just enjoying themselves. You truly see them excited and so passionate about this new experience in their life. They took that leap of faith. And one important thing that she really said was when she spoke on mental health and how it's improved her mental health. I really like to hear that because, especially coming from New York, yeah, yeah, that busy lifestyle, constantly distracted, constantly just millions of people all the time looking past each other, and just it's just it can a lot of people walking around with a psychosis, and just it could be rough. It could be rough being packed together and just yeah, it can be a lot. So her being around nature and just being able to let her spirit just awaken, that is a very beautiful thing. Very beautiful thing, and I'm very, very proud of her, and I'm rooting for her, and I really loved that video. With that being said, original link in the description, and I'll be back with more soon. Shout out to Iceland. That was my first time. I've had friends vacation there that loved it, but that was my first time really looking into it like that. So definitely beautiful. That is awesome. I'll see you all soon. Much love, y'all.